Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
Here is Manhattan Project Chain Reaction. This is the deluxe edition that was available through Kickstarter. So we have a pretty small box. Everything fits in pretty well. You're going to have this rule book that folds out. It does explain the rules pretty well. I didn't have any problems with that. It does have a solo variant at the back, and it's actually a pretty good rule book. You're going to get, in a deluxe edition, you have these upgraded chip tokens for uranium and the yellow cake that you have, and the rest of the game will be a ton of cards. Now these are the cards, these yellow cake cards that you would use in a normal game if you didn't have the upgraded components. So these I just put back in, and I won't use these, I'll use the upgraded tokens instead. This is how you score victory points. So these are the bomb cards, and these are the bomb loaded cards. First player to get 10 points wins the game, and this is what you're trying to build. So in this case, in order to build this, you will need 2 scientists, an engineer, and 3 uranium, and you'll get 4 victory points. In this case, you need 2 scientists, 2 engineers, and you can load one of these and you have 2. And there's a whole bunch of these cards that are in the game. This one is 7, so you need a scientist, 2 engineers, 5 uranium for 7 victory points. So this is the end of the game. This is what you're trying to do to get up to 10. You also have these 4 landmark cards. These cards are always out on the table and can be utilized by any player on their turn. The deal with these is they will give you uranium and engineers and scientists and yellow cake, which is kind of the 4 things that you will need in the game, but it'll be the most expensive way that you can obtain these. So you want to use these in a pinch when you have to, but you really won't want to use these too much, and if you do, you're probably not going to win the game because it's going to be the least efficient way you can do it. So these will be out face up on the board the entire game for anybody to use on their turn if they so choose. The main gist of the game will be this deck of cards that you will have. On your turn, you'll have 5 cards that you will be able to utilize to take your turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On your turn, you can use the card for the power that's on it in order to receive the output, or you can use it for the labor that's on it. So I utilize this card, 2 of any laborers. I could use these 2 scientists. In the output, I would receive these 2 tokens, and I would receive the yellow cake. So this would become mine, and this would be utilized for the turn. In addition, I could use these 2 engineers to power that mine. Now, because I use 2 and only requires 1, that additional engineer will just be lost. But in return for that, I would receive an additional 2 yellow cake, bringing my total of yellow cake to 4, and these would be discarded. At the end of my turn, if I have any cards left in my hand, I can either discard it and then draw back up to 5, or I can hold on to this card and then draw up to 5. On my next turn, I have the 4 yellow cake that I have, and I might want to go into the business of creating some uranium. So on this point, I could play this card, and it requires 1 scientist and 3 uranium. So I also have this mine card that when I flip over, allows me to utilize it as a scientist. I can also use this 3 uranium, or this 3 yellow cake to receive 2 uranium. So if I utilize that, I still have the 1 yellow cake left over, and I have the 2 uranium. I have to give these up. These cards would be discarded, and then I could use the other 3 cards in my hand. The only other type of card in the game would be these kind of cards. It says use a landmark without paying its personnel cost. A landmark would win those free cards I showed you that all players could use, or steal a yellow cake from another opponent. So sometimes you'll have these cards that have paragraphs on them, and you can just utilize these by throwing them down for free or turning them and using them for the labor. You will continue to do this until somebody gets 10 victory points, then you'd win the game. The Manhattan Project Chain Reaction. Now I'm not sure this game would have got as much publicity as it did if they didn't attach the name Manhattan Project to it. With that said, it does take the Manhattan Project and condenses it down to a very, very small card game. This game is quick. I'm talking 5 to 15 minutes quick. And once you know how to play it, you will be busting through this. There's not a whole lot of hands to play. There is some luck involved in regards to what you have and what you're drawing. So if your cards don't match up, you know, you're kind of bummed out for the round. The saving grace is you can choose to discard cards at the end of your turn, unlike a deck builder where you have to discard all of your cards at the end of the round. So you're making some strategic decisions about what you're getting, hoping you draw what you need in. The game is quick. Manhattan Project kind of had that quick ending. I felt like there was a lot of build up and then that ending was boom, it's out of nowhere. This one, the whole thing is rather quick. But it does fit the theme of Manhattan Project. You do feel like you're kind of doing the same thing. The cards are very similar. They fit together very nicely. Now, I do have the deluxe edition with the big components. I haven't played it with the cards because I had those tokens. And those tokens are really, really cool and very, very nice. I'd recommend getting the deluxe edition of this game. I think that this is a great little card game package, but understand this might be a filler that you play for the night. This is something you'll play before you bring out Manhattan Project in the themed night or Energy Empire in a themed night. But I don't know that this is something that you want to play 5, 10, 15 times in a row, back to back to back to back. But it is a nice little filler that people can play really quickly while you're waiting for people to show up. And I think that comes across. Do not let this theme scare you off. This is not a building a bomb theme where you're going to be blowing people up. It's not that. It just signifies that you're building this thing up. And really, you could call it building up anything. If you don't want it to be bombs, it doesn't have to be bombs. Call it cupcakes if that makes you feel better about yourself. Because it does not have to be bombs. It's just kind of there. That is the theme they put on it. I think it works well. I think it's neat. But it could have been anything. It could have been bakers baking cakes, I guess. It doesn't have to be bombs. So if you can put that aside, I don't think that it encompasses the game, although it is there. I find the card game to be very fun. It's something I find myself going back to. I like the ease of play. I like how easy it is to teach. And I like how each of the cards can be used for one of 3 different things. And that's really, really neat. And you have the cards at the top that everybody can use, even though not as productive as usual. So I would say this is a winner for me, a lukewarm winner. I don't think it's something you need to run out and grab. But if you're a fan of Manhattan Project, this could be one that you can add to your collection. Or if you like short card games, this is definitely one that will fit your collection. That's Manhattan Project Chain Reaction, a winner for me, and one I think you should check out. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.